Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Chess Journey to National Master. In this episode, I got to face a teammate of mine, Ricardo Santos, from my club, Clube dos Galitos, from my team. And yeah, it was a tough pairing. It's always tough to play teammates, but yeah, let's see how the game went. So, my opponent started with e4, which I expected. And I went for something different here with e5, which I have I ever played in the journey to national master. I don't know actually if I played e4 e5. I feel like I have done it before, but I'm not so sure. So yeah, my opponent went for knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, and we got into a Rui Lopez. And here I went for a6, bishop a4 by my opponent. I went knight f6, castles, and now I played d6, which is the deferred Steinitz defense. And yeah, I had some ideas here, but yeah, completely fresh position for me. It was the first time that I played this type of position with Rui Lopez with a6 in a classical game. That I'm like 100% sure, for real. So yeah, my opponent went rook e1, bishop d7, c3, g6, d4. This is some kind of theory, honestly. But yeah, I played bishop g7 here. My opponent played bishop g5. I went h6, bishop h4, castles, and now my opponent played knight b2. And I think I was still in prep here, honestly. I was trying to recall everything. And here, I felt like there was a line that I kind of knew with e takes on d4, but like the positions would get very very messy, and I wasn't um so sure about it. I don't even remember how the line necessarily continues, but it is something tricky for sure for black. But here I decided to go for a more modest approach with rook e8, which I uh, understood better. And here my opponent correctly, assesses what he needs to do. He plays d5, which makes a lot of sense because after knight e7, trades these bishops, and now my rook on e8 looks dumb. It just wants to be on f8, so yeah, I'll have to waste a tempo later to play rook f8 because I want to break with f5. But you can say the position is kind of locked, so it doesn't really matter that I will have to end up wasting this tempo on rook f8, which kind of makes sense. But yeah, here my opponent played a4. Yeah, I didn't really get the point of a4. Uh, the only thing I could think about is that he wants to play a5 and kind of fix my pawn here on b7. So I played a5. Very typical knee-jerk reaction almost to this kind of moves. Here my opponent played knight c4, and yeah, I didn't really understand knight c4 by him. I played g5, and I was very excited because like I thought, okay, I'm gonna get the bishop, and yeah, I'll have a great position here. Bishop g3, f5 here, takes, and here, yeah, I felt like I was very happy with this position. I kind of got what I wanted. Yeah, and I'm completely fine here. But after knight f d2 by my opponent, I just made the one of the biggest mistakes, positional mistakes that I've done in this journey by far. Like I played the very dumb knight x on g3, and this is a big blunder, positional blunder, and already goes from like an equal position to, I mean, losing. This is like losing, honestly. Um, yeah. Uh, and the point is very simple. After h takes on g3, here, yeah, my bishop is literally gonna be a dead piece for the rest of the game because after knight f6 by me, my opponent plays knight e4, and here there's no like way I can like stop this blockade and activate my bishop. Yeah, I think after like h after I take the bishop and I see my opponent playing 94, like I realized, oh wow, um yeah, I made a huge blunder and I might just be lost here. But let's go back. What should I have done instead of this? Like this reaction of g5, f5 was all very good, but the point and that you need to understand that I should have understood during the game is that after knight takes on f5 and knight d2, here I should never take this bishop because this bishop is bad. This is a bad piece. Like this is white's worst minor piece, and this is my worst minor piece. But they kind of counterbalance each other. They counterbalance each other. So this bishop is bad, this bishop is bad. This knight is very good on f5, so I should not touch it if I don't need to. And here, the plan is kind of a King's Indian type of plan, where I just build up a kingside attack. Like, I'm just gonna try to checkmate my opponent. And let's say my opponent tries to still blockade this square. I go queen g6, for example, here, f3 to free up this bishop. I can just simply play rook f8, let's say bishop f2, and now I can start pushing my pawns on the king side. And yeah, it's I feel like this position, although it's equal, it's way easier to play for black. But yeah, I just it completely like I just completely blitzed out that knight takes on g3 move without taking into consideration that it could be a fatal blunder for my position. But yeah, here I don't even know what to suggest for white here. Maybe he needs to try to play on the queen side with like b4, a takes b4, c takes on b4, and yeah, it's not so simple because like this b4 move allows knight d4, and now if he ever takes, my bishop kind of has purpose, and I have the e5 square. So it's like it's one of those type of positions where actually I feel like black can't really go wrong as long as he doesn't blunder in one move. Like he has simple uh moves that he can make, like waiting sort of moves, like king h8, you know, maybe rook f7, b6, rook g8, or rook f8, and you slowly try to build up a kingside attack, and you wait for your opponent to make some concessions. And yeah, but this is the type of position that requires you to kind of understand the plans instead of actually memorizing moves, which it's the wrong thing to do. But yeah, I kind of just memorized the opening moves. I didn't really pay attention to the plans, and I got punished for it. So yeah, actually, it could have been a really cool and interesting game, but it ended up being very boring. And yeah, from this point on, my opponent just completely teach me a lesson on how to just convert like winning positions without any trouble. Like yeah, this position, like I'm literally just playing with less of a piece. The computer says 1.3 advantage for white, but this feels more like +3. It feels like white is just up a piece, and my opponent just played this really well without giving me any kind of counterplay here. I was just moving pieces back and forth, and yeah, all of a sudden, like I feel like I just don't have moves, and my opponent just won a couple pawns, and he just yeah, I just didn't resign. I just kept playing, trying to find some tricks, but there was nothing I could find, and eventually here I resigned. I kind of had enough, and yeah, just completely outplayed. Just a pretty simple win for my opponent. I didn't even put up a fight, just made a early blunder, uh, leaving the opening, and that was it. So, yeah, by far my worst game of the tournament, and yeah, I was kind of very sad because like I was on an unbeaten streak for like plus like I think I was like plus like 10 games without losing or something like that, and it kind of my teammate kind of broke my streak. So thank you, Ricard. Thank you, bro. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, this was the game. Not much to say. It feels like the games have been like not very interesting this tournament, aside from like the first two games. But it is what it is. Still a great tournament, and I can't really complain. So yeah, another short video, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.